So let's start what we will go through today. So we will start underlining what are the energy poverty challenges. We will then present some local solution and follow with a deep details about the assistance, how to start to write a successful proposal and how to proceed the process to tackle energy poverty. In the end, we will also give you practical tips on how to apply and then open the session for question and answer for everyone to submit their specific question. Let's start with the energy poverty challenges, and I ask Jeppe to speak about this chapter of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Dora. I hope that you can all see and hear me. It's a pleasure to have you all on board on sort of one of the first and big activities of the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub in a long line of supporting activities. So to start a bit with the starting point, we have, as you can see, we're here to tackle a challenge, and I think it's in the last publication of the European Commission, it was stated that more than 34 million inhabitants in the European Union are having issues in heating or cooling their home adequately, and basically what we are dealing with is a growing challenge. Growing challenge might seem very dire in the sense that things might get worse. It sounds like that, but we have to think of energy poverty as something that we both need to alleviate and prevent. So that we do have, as I mentioned before, the 34 million, and the number is much higher if we sort of include the complexity of energy poverty, but sort of this simplified number there is quite easy to understand. But the thing is also, we are on board a huge transition of our energy systems in order to become climate neutral by 2055 in the European Union, and also contribute to the Paris Agreement. And this means when we are transitioning things, we are changing business as usual. And that's why we also need to consider energy poverty as something we need to ensure that we prevent when we transition from business as usual to something new. So at the same time as trying to alleviate the existing issues, we also need to prevent that we are challenging vulnerable consumers more than absolutely needed, and that we ensure that the transition is just and balanced. So you would see obviously the energy poverty challenge is focusing in particular on the vulnerable consumers, because those are the ones that are most likely to be affected in a much more negative way in this transition. That's also why I put the title here as energy poverty as being a socio-technical challenge, because one thing is that we have a lot of technical solutions and technical challenges to solve, but it's super important that we also consider the citizens and the consumers, and in particular the vulnerable and their specific situation, which can differ largely from one household to another. So you see here sort of a broad spectrum of population from one way to the other, but I mean, also the groups of vulnerable consumers are differing largely. So that's also something I will talk a bit more about later. If we can have next slide, then we are basically, because here it's a bit more, here we're focusing more on the technical aspects, on the household challenges, that sort of, it's kind of like the triple parameter challenge of energy poverty in individual households. And here we are we're looking at sort of the financial situation of the household income level. We're looking at the energy efficiency of the household, and this goes both to sort of the energy efficiency of sort of when it comes to heating and cooling, but also to household appliances that contribute to the energy bill. And then as the third corner of the triangle here, the energy prices that are, of course, of sort of a crucial parameter. And the energy prices now, I believe that most people that are with us today are directly affected on this parameter for the moment, based on the ongoing gas crisis in the European Union. That actually also shows that also echoes beyond our union. But that you would see, like now, when we are changing the parameter here in the right corner on the energy prices, well, it does have an effect, a crucial effect on the household challenges of energy poverty. Obviously, if one of the corners here is worsening, there are the solutions to sort of improve the other corners somehow in order to keep some kind of equilibrium. And so it's a very, I mean, this is a very shallow introduction, but I really invite you also to go and go to the website of the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub and find much more information that can both sort of describe how how the challenges can be defined, but also a series of good solutions. Already now, I suggest that you visit our 24 inspirational cases, which is a publication recently launched. And based on the large survey that is actually sort of where this is the first result, with the 24 cases here, we have developed an online atlas. We call it the online EPAH atlas, where you can actually see more than 200 practical examples of project measures to alleviate energy poverty, and you'll see that that most likely you're very close geographically to somebody who is actually already taking actions. So you don't need to reach that far, but hopefully in the future, and with the work we're doing in the advisory hub and with your activities across the European Union, we have many more dots there. Last but not least, we have also kickstarted our series of e-learning modules, and we begin with an introductory course where you will have much more information than the shallow introduction I just provided. So just to give you a couple of examples of what we have as good examples, I think here the Green Doctors from the UK is a good example of how sort of the social technical challenge is depicted, and also as a solution, in the sense that you have experts coming and visiting households that are prone to energy poverty, and provide guidance on sometimes it's very simple guidances on how to lower their energy bill. And you can see it is a combination of sort of capacity building and training, but also sort of general communication campaign and advice. Next one, I think is also quite similar in terms of advice, is the Damport Knapped Up from Ghent. This one, but here it's specifically targeted into sort of the citizens that are kind of locked in a situation where they have had the possibility to buy a house, so they're actually house owners. Nevertheless, by buying this house, they put themselves in such a tight budget condition or situation that they are unable to do quite crucial energy efficiency renovations that can actually sort of put them in that can lower their energy bill, and therefore also sort of give more room and space in their household budgets. The solution for for Damport and Ghent is the possibility of actually receiving to get a loan for this type of renovation, and you only need to pay it back when you sell the house or when you rent it. So a financial mechanism that has been specifically targeted to vulnerable consumers, and again, sort of like a good example of how diverse the support for alleviating energy poverty is, both in regard to sort of social and technical solution, and in this case also with a specific financial solution. Just the next slide here sort of moves us from challenges to solutions, and this is also one of the sort of the parts of the title of today's presentation, because the Covenant of Mayors has now been around for some, I think, 12, 13 years about now, and is sort of the mainstream movement of local climate and energy planning in the European Union. With, I think we are right now, the movement is up more than 10,000 political commitments, both inside the EU, but also now going global, in reducing emissions. In the EU, it's connected to the overall EU targets, and therefore local authorities are committing directly to the sort of to the Paris agreements. But it's also the local community or local governments are also committing to adaptation to climate change. And since 2015, also the covenant signatories have signed up to take actions on access to energy as it's the wider topic, which in the European Union kind of translates to energy poverty. So that's why that's also, you would see here, if you see to the right of this slide, you can see on top you have kind of the planning cycle of or the action planning cycle of the Covenant of Mayors. And if you see below sort of the planning cycle of energy poverty, local energy poverty action planning, is this similar circular movement. So in that sense, those signatories out there that have signed up after 2015 and who have committed to actually to take actions on energy poverty will find it hopefully they'll find it quite easy to integrate the social aspects of climate and energy planning, and so to speak, make their CCAP social. I would like to, I think it's quite important also here to mention the collaboration between the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub and the Covenant of Mayors Office, because a central part of taking actions on energy poverty is sort of diagnosing the scale and the nature of the challenge locally. And major sort of, and a tool for doing so is the newly confirmed local energy poverty indicators that has been developed between the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub and the Covenant of Mayors community and office, which is a series of, I think we are actually up on 26 local indicators that cities and towns can use as tools for getting closer to as specific an understanding, as detailed an understanding of the energy poverty situation in their municipality. And this understanding is, of course, crucial to have sort of the right to have informed-based discussions internally in the municipality, and that will somehow lead to the social climate plan, or the, let's say, this a social CCAP, if we should use the Covenant of Mayors terms. The local indicators for energy poverty will be available next month, and the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub remains here as the supporting entity to provide information and guide on the use of the local indicators. This is also here where our call for technical assistance is a good opportunity to, for instance, apply as a covenant signatory for support to diagnosing the local energy poverty as the starting point in the circle, not only the yellow circle, but perhaps also the turquoise above, and ensure that energy poverty is integrated when doing, let's say, the normal planning cycle of energy and climate. And with that, I think I will leave the floor back to you, give the microphone back to you, Dora, and in order to hear sort of some of the more details of how exactly to apply for this assistance.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your introduction about the challenges and the possible solution. So with EPAH, what we have seen is, in short, what it's that we are trying to address, and some inspiration that you can use to identify what's exactly the assistance you are looking for. But what came out? In each different cities, the situation can change, and can change also between neighborhoods. For this reason, we believe there is the necessity to design tailor-made solutions that tackle exactly what are your needs. What we would like to provide with this assistance is what we call the trio support. So from one side, there is the local government, so you, that formulate your specific needs in support with other external organizations. On another side, there is the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub team that will support to establish a connection across all Europe, enter part of a wider network and exchange solutions and possible ideas. And then there is the expert organization. This will be a specific expert that will address directly to you and support in developing your local actions. So let's enter into detail on how to apply. First of all, already on the homepage of the call that you see here, it's downloadable, the description of the call, where you can find more information about the whole process, what will be awarded, and how it will, if you are selected, the process of technical assistance. To who we want to reach. So the call is specifically meant to address local governments, but we are welcoming to have organizations that are supporting them in tackle their energy poverty. The organizations shall come from the 27 European member states, and the call is designed to be widely open, either for local governments that are just starting their action in energy poverty, but also for realities that already started the process, but in some kind of way they need the more specific and detailed assistance on a specific topic. The goal we want to achieve is to produce effective local result. So thanks to the technical assistance, improving the situation and start a movement that will then keep continuously growing after the technical assistance end. Specifically, the award is up to 9 months of technical support from tailored experts, normally local organization, and the EPAH team. How to register? The first step is to register to the application form. You can find the place on the top of the page of the call for energy poverty, or also in the middle of the page. Once you are registered, you will have access to the area for the applicants. Here, the first things you will find, it's a list of documents, all downloadable, that provide additional insights about the call, the deadlines, and the evaluation process. The call description is the most general documents, and we kindly invite you to read it. The application form, it's a downloadable format, so for you to fill offline. So you can easily fill it without any connection and then move it online only at the last minute when the proposal is finalized. There is then the letter of commitment. The letter of commitment engages the local government and should be signed and stamped by a representative of the local government involved. It should then be uploaded on the online section. The evaluation procedure, it's an additional document for a self-evaluation in order to understand how your proposal will eventually be scored by our evaluators. Additionally, you can download a checklist to guide you to check if all the documents are in place before the submission, and a tips and tricks document that provide you some of our advice on how to develop a successful proposal. How we suggest you to start? Quickly review the content of the different documents in order to understand where you can find easily the information you're looking for. Then start from the application form and check the different sections to fill. Keep in mind that the section of the application form has different value. So if you are tight in time, start from the section that presents the higher score. Decide with your team which kind of assistance you are looking for. To get some inspiration on what you can ask, we refer again to the 24 inspirational cases or the EPAH Atlas to understand which activities can be done. Once you open the application form, you will find in each section as also a short description of what we are looking for in that specific area. For example, the main section is the specific request for technical assistance. This section is the longest one, up to 2,500 characters, and it counts 50% of the total score. This is where you should mention in detail the technical assistance you request, the reason that guides you to this request, expected result of the technical assistant, time frame, and how you think it will work the interaction between your staff, the co-applicant organization, and the expert. If you already have in mind some expert organization that is working locally and that you would like to support you, you can advise us and mention this organization specifically in this section. How you can develop a good proposal? So as said, the application form reports some notes about what is supposedly meant to be in that area. Additional information are available in the call description under the paragraph specifically for the application form. If you want also some additional tips, we give you the chance to look at the evaluation metrics. In this way, you will understand how you can score from the evaluator's perspective. The evaluation matrix is there only for a self-assessment tool for you. So there is no need to upload 10 as self-evaluation. After all this section, if you still have questions, we invite you to check the frequently asked questions section that is on the homepage of the call. You can already find some questions available. We invite you to partner with organizations that can help you deliver the whole process. Specifically, also if there is some problem of submitting the documents in English or reading the documents in English, partner with an organization that can facilitate the communication with the EPAH team. Don't forget to proceed to the application online once you have finalized the process. You can click the button Apply on now and proceed online directly. Don't forget to upload the commitment letter signed and stamped. We know that these letters can require some time to have the agreements with the local government, so we invite you to download it as soon as possible once you have the idea of the projects you want to ask and proceed with the signature. You should click the Submit Proposal button before the deadline that is set the 1st of March at 6 p.m. Central European Time. Once you submit the proposal, in the main page under Application Status, you will find a green flag. Make sure that these flags appears in order to concretely submit the proposal. As you can see, you have the chance to upload more than one proposal, and you will have the overview of all the proposals you are applying for on the main page. However, we will give priority to a geographical spread and also make sure that the two proposals are not connected one to each other, but are possible to develop independently. Again, if you have still question not uploaded, you can either in the later on this session pause right now, or you can submit your question at info@energypoverty.eu. I will now start the live question and answer session. All your question will be, I will stop the recording right now. All your question will take note about it, and we will make sure to upload it also on the website for you to consult also in a later moment.